Hi, welcome to Patriot Ordnance Factory, where we build the ultimate fighting machines. We compromise on nothing. We only put the best materials, the best processes. It's irrelevant if it's hot, if it's cold, if it's sandy and dusty and muddy. The ultimate fighting machine's right there by your side and it's going to continue to run. We don't emulate, we don't imitate, we innovate. I'm from the aerospace industry. I worked all the way through from a plain old machinist through a tool and die maker into engineering, becoming a process engineer. This is just another piece of metal. It's no different than working on an aircraft part or an automobile part, and every component means something. Every single little detail. And we chose to start with making it a piston system. So we chose to bring to the industry a piston driven AR. We did a very, very simple piston system. It is 3 simple parts. There's your whole operating system. You have a regulated plug, so you can regulate for suppressed or unsuppressed. We have a piston, and we have an op rod. Now, if I put them in series with a carrier, it hits up against the carrier and the mechanical key. That's your entire operating system. Our design is simple. It's extremely robust. It has the least amount of parts compared to most piston systems that are out there. It vents heat as fast as it can so it doesn't retain it compared to other designs, and it's free floating. Now let me explain how. How could I achieve that in a regulated short stroke gas piston system? Well, you notice all those parts are separate. So I don't combine the piston with the op rod, and I allow the barrel to move. So within our billet machined gas block, we vent the gas several times under the tube and vent it out behind the op rod. So we are not retaining the heat. Every time the product's fired, it immediately vents. We've shot 1,000 rounds in Beta C mag dumps. The hottest this gas block ever achieved was 683 degrees. And it never fatigued. It kept running and running and running. Those are big features. Why? Because we have a heat sink barrel nut. 52 inches of surface area. It's aluminum. It dissipates heat more efficiently and effective than steel will ever be. So when you couple this to your upper receiver, you're carrying your whole chamber and your throat area to help dissipate the heat there. Our carrier is another piece of the operating system. It's a solid piece. It starts as 2-inch bar stock. The key's one piece. It's built in. We have a pocket that helps guide the op rod, so it always has a centered push instead of a glancing blow as it impacts. It's NP3 coated, so it's electrous nickel with Teflon. The carrier itself just needs a light lube. The piston system's not generating the heat here, it's generating it on the gas block. So you need a light lube. Maybe put a drop or two on your cam pin and your riding surfaces of your carrier. And for maintenance of your 3 parts on your operating system, the regulated gas plug, the piston, and the op rod, all you ever need is a piece of Scotch-Brite and a rag to clean it. Now, I want to be able to maintenance this thing without any tools. This head design allows you to use the brass base of a cartridge to turn the plug if it's dirty, and even the bullet tip to push, so you don't need any tools. I have a brake on this right now, so I'm going to put it in normal mode. I feel a notch there. I can feel it without even looking and know that I'm in normal mode. If I need to go to suppress mode, say I had an adapter, I put my suppressor on, all I have to do is push the pin in, rotate 180 degrees. It's smooth. Smooth is for suppress mode. I don't have to see here and read anything. If I'm in a vehicle, I'm in a helicopter, or I'm a hunter in a blind, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. With gloves on, I should be able to tell what mode of fire my platform's in. Also, I need to maintenance this. So if I got to maintenance this thing, I don't want to remove this handguard. I don't want to remove this sight and have to go and re-zero to take my gun out. I'm just cleaning the damn thing. I just want to pull it apart. I push the button in, I rotate the button towards the barrel, I lift the plug out. I can rotate the muzzle downward and take the parts out. There's my piston, there's my op rod, and here's my plug. It's that simple, guys. Let's say there's carbon in there from heavy use, you were shooting it. With the plug removed, and use the action till it pops the piston and the op rod up. So to put this gun back together, it's just this simple. Once you clean it with Scotch-Brite and wipe it, simple, just throwing it back in and just dropping it in. Putting the piston in, the op rod, the piston, and now the plug. I rotate and I have a gun that's ready to run. So the heat's out on the barrel. It's underneath the free floating handguard. I can't hold it, I can't grab it. I don't have to remove the rail. It's all maintenance through the front. And best of all is I don't have to remove a scope that's sighted in and now go back to the range and re-zero it just for the simple fact of cleaning my gun. Now, for the consumer, that could be a big thing. It saves them time and money. But for law enforcement and military, that's a huge thing. So you're telling me every time I maintenance my gun, I have to remove my scope and re-zero? That's ridiculous. Keep it simple. It's always the best way. Less parts means more. We identify our barrels. We machine, not laser mark. We engrave the caliber and chamber. We engrave the twist rate. We also identify one of the last things I'll end up talking about, but probably one of the best innovations we've done. It's called ESquared. Not only do we serialize the barrel to the gas block, so you have a match set that was precision machined on a fixture in a CNC, we also identify the gas block with symbols, and we also put date codes on part. We have total traceability. What does that mean to you? We can tell the materials used, the heat treat certs, the material certs, plating certs, everything that it took to make this part back on 06 of 14. Our barrel extension's unique on all our barrels. We didn't do what's been shown from the 50s design. We put something that was older, because I like to call it like a 1911 feed ramp. It's just one big ramp. We don't need M4 feed ramps. We're at a 45-degree angle, a much better feed angle than 52 degrees of the M4 ramp of feeding ammunition into the chamber. These are the things that work. I can have a 7 1/4 inch full auto gun feeding 6.8 or 5.56 and run and run and run. We're nitrate heat treated, so we're case hardened on this. Case hardens to 68 to 70 Rockwell. It's corrosion resistance, and it encompasses every aspect of this barrel.
My name is Danny Rosetta. I'm the Vice President of Operations here at Controlled Thermal Technology. We do heat treating and surface technologies. Heat treating being the hardening, strengthening, and sometimes softening of steel and steel products. For POF, we do carburizing, which is a case hardening process. We also do a process that we trademarked named Nitrodox, heat treating process based on ferritic nitrocarburizing, meaning a low temperature case hardening process where you diffuse nitrogen and carbon into the surface of the part to form a hard, corrosion resistant case used for wear resistance and corrosion resistance. So you get no warping, no bending, no dimensional change as a result of the process. It's got several steps, first being just a general cleaning. Then there's a surface preparation step where we sandblast. Then it moves on to a racking procedure. Then we immerse the parts in the molten salt bath at 1,050 degrees. Then it goes actually into an oxidizing bath, water rinsed, cleaned again. Then we do a polishing process, re-immerse in the oxidizing bath, followed by a glass bead final and preservative oil at the end.
From every external component to internal, the lands, the grooves, the throat, the chamber, the neck, the case, the barrel extension, everything, including our gas block. When we pin on the gas block to our barrel, we serialize a match set. And to ensure we have the best process, we take the gas block off the barrel, we separate them, send them for heat treat, separate, and then match them up once we're here and we process the barrels. Why? Because in most AR platforms that you own and receive today, they pin on the gas block and they crate it up and send it off for chrome plating and phosphating. If you ever remove that gas block, you're going to have rust underneath it. We're not going to cut corners to save a penny. We're only going to do the right things, and the right things is processing it correctly. So the entire gas block and the entire barrel is nitrate heat treated. Don't get me wrong, chrome is a good product, but it's lazy. It's a laminate, it's a plating that goes on top of the barrel. Over time, with a projectile going down under pressure and heat, it's gonna start cracking, and you'll have an opportunity to delaminate those cracked places and portions on the barrel. We chose the nitrate heat treat. What did that do to us? We had a consistent, accurate barrel from gun to gun to gun to gun. And I'm not saying chrome line barrels don't shoot, but it's better if I heat treat the barrel material itself, not add anything to the bore, because we have to control bores, guys. This is a rifle, and the bore and the rifling is critical for accuracy and shooting down range. So if I leave the barrel as is and I heat treat it and case harden this, the benefit for you as a user, less carbon fouling, easier to clean, and longevity of the barrel. San Bernardino Sheriff's Office has conducted testing on a 14.5-inch 308 full auto. The gun is now at 67,000 rounds. It's still operating, still running, and by the way, guys, the barrel's holding up wonderful. It's still shooting just at 1-inch groups at 100 yards. How many platforms are on this planet right now that can make that statement of accuracy, durability, and reliability? I challenge anyone to state that. It's because the processes and the time spent on that widget and every aspect of what it is. Every feature means something. The fluting, the size of the barrel. We can take the easy route. I can turn a real thin barrel just to give you a lightweight barrel, but it's never gonna hold up. If you want a gun that's extremely durable and accurate, you build like we do. You build a profile of a barrel that has structure to it. You flute. We don't put little scribes here, we heavy flute. Our barrels are like I-beams. They're nitrate heat treated, they're billet machine gas block, heat sink barrel nut, 1911 feed ramp, date coded, engraved everything. We do the best of the best out there when it comes to features, processes, and innovation. Period. Let's talk about a roller cam pin. Hey, it rolls. Would that reduce friction or drag as your action, as the action's going back and forth, instead of a fixed head that's dragging, a steel fixed head going back and forth on the aluminum? Reality is the aluminum loses that roll because the friction and drag going back and forth, you'll end up having a groove. Here's a piece that should be in everybody's gun. I don't care what the name or brand is. If you have an AR style platform, you should have a roller cam pin. We have a buffer tube. The biggest feature about this, it's an anti-tilt buffer tube. The little excess sticks out, it captures the carrier. As you close the upper, the carrier sits. right there, and then it can operate. One of the best innovations we did for our weapon platform is the heat sink barrel nut. Made of aluminum, 52 inches of surface area. In a combination with the receiver, it helps in many ways. So we did a backbone on our two-piece upper receiver. We call it an MRR, modular railed receiver. We have dovetail cuts into the side of the receiver, and you'll see threaded steel inserts. So what you do is, with the combination of the heatsink barrel nut, and then you dovetail the rail over the barrel nut on the top of the receiver, and you would torque it down to 25 inch-pounds. We clamp around the barrel nut. Now you put a vertical grip. What do guys do? They pull. And as they pull, the fulcrum point is all right here. What's the most critical item on your gun? It's the bolt and its lockup. That's what's underneath that barrel nut that you're clamped to. So if you got someone that's pulling with a lot of leverage, they'll flex that receiver and also flex where the bolt and the barrel extension engage. We don't break bolts. Never have, never will with this design. If this rail gets flexed by someone pulling on a vertical grip, they're only gonna flex it to the front of that barrel nut, which is 3 inches away from its lockup. Our two-piece modular rail receiver is extremely rigid, extremely durable. It helps to prevent flex on the critical items, and is quick and fast and efficient to assemble and disassemble. This little heatsink barrel nut does a tremendous amount of work, this one item. That's true innovation. Now let's talk about the features of Patriot Ordnance Factory free floating rail system, which is our modular railed receiver, MRR. It's M-LOK compatible. It's a slick, lightweight design. It also has quick releases at 3 and 9 o'clock. I can put stuff at 9 o'clock, I could put items at 6 o'clock, and I can put items at 3 o'clock. On this P308, you notice we have a vertical grip. It's an M-LOK, so we are M-LOK compatible. What's nice about this feature, it's extremely rigid and durable. You can still use the Patriot Ordnance Factory rails. So if you want a continuous rail section, it doesn't take away. It looks like it came in one piece that way. Or you take it off. And now I can place a larger objective scope. I just happen to have a Warhog here that has a large objective scope, so you'll see the benefits of what our rail system is. So here's our Warhog. Now you can see this is a Leopold 4.5 by 14 scope, a Mark IV. This is a 50 objective. Look how close it sits in the saddle of the rail being removed. So I can keep low rings, large objective, and I can function and use this gun without having taller rings. Here's our billet machined upper receiver, a beautiful work of art with NP3 coating on it. It's electrous nickel with Teflon that's impregnated in the substrate of the material. Just like the roller cam pin, reducing friction and drag, this coating does the same thing.
Hello, I'm Robbie Barkman, President of the Robar Companies, and we're here today to talk to you about our coating NP3 and NP3 Plus. So if we have a look at the scanning electron microscope picture that we have over here, this picture was shot in a scanning electron microscope at 3000 magnification. So what we have are the coating on the top and the substrate, in this case a piece of steel. The little black dots are the submicron particles of Teflon. These are microscopic, and as you can see we had to go to 3000 magnification so that you could actually see them. You can also see that they're very evenly distributed throughout the whole matrix, the whole electrolysis nickel matrix. The gray area, the lighter area, that is the electrolysis nickel. So the electrolysis nickel acts as a binder, almost, if you will, like caramel and peanuts in a peanut cluster. Every time you take a bite, you get the caramel, the electrolysis nickel, and you get chunks of PTFE. As this coating wears down, it's going to keep exposing brand new particles of PTFE. So as long as you have the integrity of the coating, you will always have the same lubricating factors. Nominal thickness, the most economic and best thickness for NP3 on a firearm is about 3/10,000ths, and we can hold that very, very accurately. So what we get with the NP3, the advantages of the NP3, accuracy of plating. We won't interfere with your tolerances. Very, very high corrosion resistance. In our NP3 Plus product, at a 1 mil thickness, the coating will go over 1,000-hour salt spray test. That is by ASTM 117. Its adhesion factor is 30 to 60,000 PSI. So it has tremendous stickability. We give it a lifetime guarantee against corrosion and against peeling. The NP3 is not only a firearms finish. In actual fact, our biggest customers are aerospace. Your parts are on a rack with parts that are going in the F-18 bomb racks, parts going onto the Apache helicopter, parts going into the space station, whatever. You will wear the gun out before you wear the coating out. We have never, in all the years we've been doing this coating, ever had to replate a gun because it wore out. Now the beauty of NP3, if you do wear the coating down, or you decide you need to do repairs which require us to go through the coating, we can strip the coating without affecting the substrate. We have chemistry that will strip only the NP3 coating and will not touch the substrate. Then we can replate right back to tolerance again. Gun is as good as new.
Let's go to our lower receiver. So what do we have when we engage a gun? I have a bunch of ergonomics that go on. We chose to say, hey, what if I can stay on my gun and control the whole gun within 2 inches? So with the Gen 4, it does just that. Well, the Gen 1 receiver always had the mag release right here. Well, on a Gen 4 lower, we added an ambidextrous mag release, so it's on the left side. Our ambidextrous bolt release, we have the standard bolt release that was done in 1960, but we enhanced it. We put a little paddle, so it's more efficient to hold the bolt open. Oh, I have a selector on both sides too. So we have ambidextrous safety selectors. So within the trigger guard, we have an ambidextrous bolt hold open. So whether you're right-handed or left-handed, I'm still in control of my gun. I can pull the charging handle as I hit the lever. You're able to see the ambidextrous hold open. Great feature. The Gen 4 lower's truly ambidextrous. When I'm not on the trigger, my finger should be off and showing clear and safe at all times. I have finger divots that are ambidextrous, left side or right side. How your fingers engage and where they get raw, some points of where they may get raw if you shoot a lot. We put radiuses on the trigger guard to try to give some relief so you're not getting raw from shooting a lot. This oversized guard was meant so you didn't have to drop a trap door. It gave rigidity to the platform, and I could wear a glove to get inside of this and still operate my gun. How about guys when they place their upper on a lower and they're pivoting? Some guys don't like the fit. Sometimes it's not as tight as they like it, or it's too tight. We have the ability to adjust. We put nylon, not steel screws, because this is all aluminum, guys. Nylon threaded screws that go into the receiver. You don't have to take apart nothing. You can adjust your fit of your upper to the lower to what you choose. You're the individual owner of this. You can fit it to how you want. And what adds to it is our rattler, the ambidextrous charging handle. So whether you're the traditional side of pulling on the left side to charge your gun, to the right side and doing it. Ambidextrous control. That's another great feature and innovation from Patriot Ordnance Factory. Let's talk about our drop-in trigger group. We need to make it crisp, lightweight, fast, consistent, and accurate each and every time you press that trigger. And the EFP takes it to the next level. Enhanced finger placement. If you notice, that trigger design's got a little curve and a pad. It's actually placed forward, compared to a standard trigger that's curved. I have a pad that I place my finger on. It's consistent each and every time. So if I'm pressing on the same location, I have the same leverage on that trigger. As I press that trigger, I have the same pull, the same press. Consistency leads to accuracy. The normal mil-spec trigger, there's 7 parts. Parts could be put in differently, parts could be put in wrong. We take all that risk out of it by making a drop-in trigger group. It's all A2 material and all nitrate heat treated. And by the way, every single trigger has a date code. They're easily placed in to the gun. You drop them in, you put the K&S Precision anti-walk pins, you tighten them up, put your upper on, and you're ready to go. It's that simple. Press. It's quick, it's fast, and it's consistent. And you have a single stage 4-pound pull with the EFP trigger. A great enhancement and a great product for a very competitive price. It's great value add to any platform that you're using. And it comes standard in every POF. One of the best features we ever produce is that little thing right there. That's our symbol of ESquared. You ever have 5-gallon buckets? Like maybe you're painting a house and you wash them out and you put them inside of each other? Try to pull them apart. They're stuck with like vacuum. You need like a screwdriver to go down the side of one wall to break the seal, and then they pop free. When you shoot a cartridge, the largest movement of the case is the neck. If you don't stand on top of scrubbing your chamber, you will have a stuck case in that chamber. That's the worst failure that these platforms can have, because now you have a metal club with plastic on it and you're in a gunfight. Not a good situation to be in. We literally put a square peg in a round hole. We pushed it through the neck only and put 4 channels. As it fires, the projectile's going down the barrel. Your neck expanded because the projectile just left. As the projectile leaves, the gases are extremely fast. They travel down those 4 channels. They dead end at the shoulder of the case. The gases are pushing 360 everywhere. They're also pushing around the neck to break the seal of the neck. It's push-pull extraction. We all have an extractor and it pulls. We're using the gases at the neck to push on the shoulder. It gets put on all our systems, all our platforms. Why? Because they work. It makes this gun run and run and run as any gun out there, like say the legendary AK. And you can put more features and ergonomics on this than an AK could ever dream of. Lightweight, better modularity, runs cooler, cleaner, tough if not tougher, more accurate. In fact, without a doubt, unequivocally, our barrels will outlast theirs. So the next platform I want to talk to you about is our bolt gun. Why would Patriot Ordnance Factory do a bolt gun? Because we can. But when we bring something to the market, we're going to bring something that's unique and different. We're not going to bring me too. So let me show you what our bolt gun is. Now guys, it's on this table. It's on this table before me. So you thinking it's a gun? It is, but let me show you the true essence of our bolt gun. It's this little piece right here. That is your bolt gun. How in the hell is that your bolt gun, you may be saying? So let's show you how easy it is for Patriot Ordnance Factory to create a bolt gun. So here's our bolt gun, right? So it's this simple. And there you have a bolt gun. Well, that's just a carrier and a handle. Well, it's that simple, guys. Everything you see here looks like a regular AR that we build. It has all the same features. If you notice, there's no operating system here. So let's see how this thing goes together. Push the pin, open it up. Oh, what did I show you before? There's the same piston carrier we would use. Everything you see right here is already what we provide with every single Patriot Ordnance product we build. Nitrate heat treating, ambidextrous, fluted barrels, heat sink barrel nut. We added a spring between the bolt to help and aid unlocking, and the handle for pulling it, which is a straight pull. The handles are knurled, nice handles that rotate. Having a handle that rolls with my hand is a great ergonomic feature. Ambidextrous on both sides. I can shoot left or right hand. Whatever my situation is, I can operate. Wow, I'm in the field. How can I be able to work on my gun without any special tools? Wow, we have a 1/4-inch drive in there. How about placing a socket in there and I can tighten or take a scope off a gun? We have a socket drive in here. How about being able to put an Allen head or a torque wrench in here so I can tighten rail accessories on? An M-lock feature, like, hey, maybe a vertical grip I need to take on and off. Go back, put it together, place it back in the gun. So as you put it together, you push forward, put the pin in. Now we're out in the field. So I got it open. Oh, I need to be quiet. So I'm gonna drop it and ease it forward. So I can go pull it back, load, and I can use the handle to push as my forward assist. I don't need a forward assist on the gun. My handle is my forward assist. I don't need to rotate 90 degrees. I can stay behind my gun and operate it, or I can do a traditional bolt gun, just pull straight back. I can let go. The buffer spring and buffer become the feed assist. Just like that. It's a straight pull. I let go. The buffer spring puts it in the battery. I am ready to shoot. That's why this is a fast action. It's a straight pull, fast action. And I can get behind the gun and shoot. Bang, bang, bang. I can stay behind my gun and watch the impact. Why? Because we have a very, very effective brake. This is a work of art. All billet machine, NP3 coated, ambidextrous everything. Attack driver and accuracy. 14.5-inch rail, 18.5-inch barrel. Quick, fast, efficient. Memory skills all the same as our piston guns and the semi-auto or full auto guns. All the accessories are the same of the existing platform, except you manually operate this. Okay, let's talk about diversification. We innovate, we create, and the more items we can create on this platform where the synergy is the same, the accessories all work amongst each other, the training is all the same, the part components for repairs are the same, the memory skill, not just shooting but operating the platform. If you keep all those synergies the same from one platform to the next, you create something that's great. Our main objective is to run a clean, cool, tough, accurate weapon platform. But with that, it doesn't mean we can't diversify, like a direct impingement. Why would we do that? Well, there's a lot of customers that want the DI. They revere it and respect it. A traditional gun that people are used to operating and running at that level. Here's our pneumatic cylinder out there. Well, here's our pneumatic cylinder here. You can see there's lots of flavors here, from our original piston gun to our bolt gun called the Revolt to our DI gun called Old School. A revered and respected tradition. And that's what old school means. Just in making this the heartbeat of that direct impingement gun and elevating this level with high-end materials with an inlet tube, no screws to come loose, a roller cam pin that reduces friction and drag, NP3 coating with electroless nickel with Teflon, chrome plated bolt, chrome plated firing pin. You bring to the plate a high-end gun. Because if we're going to do something, why not make something better than what one was? We have a gas tube. Wow, that's straight. Why would we make a straight gas tube without bends? Because every time you have a bend in a tube, like headers on your car or on your motorcycle, it's back pressure where the bends are, and you'll have heat buildup. An end canal tube is capable of taking over 1200 degrees before it would collapse and give, where the mil-spec standard tube is just over 500 degrees. So what makes these P308s different? Which gun is piston driven and which gun is DI? So let's see. So if I move the charging handle, well, there's a piston driven. There's no vent holes and gas holes. So it has all the features. The Gen 4 lower has ambidextrous everything, including this has our ambidextrous charging handle called the Rattler. This is a fine platform, and it's a revered, respected one because there are plenty of users that like the DI platform, and POF's elevated that level. So Patriot Ordnance Factory's in the DI game too, and we're playing hardball. The Puritan model, base color black, traditional handguard, mil-spec type lower, drop-in trigger, same great bolt carrier assembly, piston driven, same level flat top to gas block, quick release on the muzzle, lightweight, 6.7 pounds, very simple to use, an entry level on price, but it's not an entry level on quality. Here's another nice gun I like. This is called the Skirmish. We have a long M-lock rail, so you can be out front if you're 3-gunning and running and gunning and point where you want. This is a 14.5-inch rail on top, about 15 inches to the bottom, 16.5-inch barrel, NP3, roller cam pin, heat sink barrel nut, regulated gas block. You get it in the window and can operate from normal to suppress modes in the window. Fast, lightweight, quick, ergonomics, ambidextrous everything. Tough, accurate, modular, durable, and true. We don't need to say it, we need to show it. Showing with actions mean a lot more than a bunch of flapping lips saying, I'm all this and I'm all that. Show it, bring it, because we have.